Hey, what is going on, Aquarius? This is Chris Anthony coming at you live one more again. For the month of December, this is going to be for December 1st through the 15th. This is going to be your general readings, the general energies that we're picking up for the beginning of the month, the first half. Because it is a general reading, if it doesn't resonate with you, then I might have a video that will match you a little bit more next time. So check me out in the next go round. If it does resonate with you, though, do me a favor and like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, do all those things that make me feel good. Just to let me know that you're watching. Greatly appreciate it. And Aquarius, right here, we are going to be checking out your present energies. And then over to the left, these are going to be your futuristic energies going into the middle and end of December. And then right here we have the bottom of the deck for you, Ace of Swords. So overall, what I'm feeling for you guys, Aquarius, is some sort of clarity coming in for you. You may be in a need of clarity right now with some of these cards that I'm seeing. And overall, with that Ace of Swords energy, I believe that the month of December could be bringing you clarity, or you could be gaining clarity for yourself. Right here in the middle of it all, we have the Hangman. So the Hangman energy could be you taking on a position where you're wanting to see things from a different point of view, a different perspective. The Hangman is hanging upside down. He has the enlightenment around his head, like, you know, the sunbeam, the sign of being enlightened or seeing things from a different point of view around his head. So this could be the position that you're taking on coming into December, Aquarius. You could just be wanting to see things from a different point of view. You could be taking a pause. The Hangman is usually resembling a time in your life where you're wanting to slow things down. You're taking a pause to look at things, because a lot of times in life when we're moving too quickly, we can make decisions or go in different directions just off of emotions or off of, impulse. And so when you take on a Hangman position, this could be you slowing everything down to look at things before you actually decide to purchase it, or look at a situation before you decide to go along, look at a relationship before you see if it's something that you want to stay in or get out of, or something you want to begin or end. So the Hangman is somebody that's on a journey, a spiritual journey, or a journey, just in life where you're on a path, you're trying to grow as a person, you're trying to evolve. You're trying to do all these different things, and before you can move any further forward, you have to take a look inside to see what's going on, or you just have to take a look at your situation in general. So that's probably how you're looking at things right now. Right above that, crowning your energy, we have the Seven of Cups. So definitely you could be coming into that Hangman position only because you have a lot of options that are coming at you this month, or a lot of options that are needing to be made by you. You could have a lot of things being presented to you by people. This could have to do with relationships. It could have to do with a job position. It could have to do with extracurricular activities. It could be anything. The Seven of Cups represents options that you have, but some of them could be things that are not as good for you. If you look at the cups, there's some things going on in the cups that are not as good for you as others are. Seven of Cups also represents you being clouded a little bit by illusions or by the allure of certain things, but not knowing exactly what they have to offer inside. It's kind of like that saying, everything that shines ain't gold. So this could be some of your advice from the cards right now. With you having that in your crowning energy, that's what's in your mind. You having to make a decision, and you having to cut through the bullshit at the end of the day. The Seven of Cups to me is somebody who has to make a more grounded decision. But you're looking at everything, taking a look at everything that you have around you, and it could just only be going on in your mind. A lot of times when we're picturing life in our mind, it doesn't have the reality-based things that could happen in real life. So if you ever see any of those memes or videos that people make on YouTube, they always show like the expectation and then the reality. So with the Seven of Cups, that's exactly what this is about. It's you expecting one thing, but then having the reality of it happen, and you're kind of like, oh snap, I didn't know that that was actually going to happen that way in reality. So with the Seven of Cups, you kind of have to ground your energy. You have to look at all of the cups, because the cups represent our emotions. It represents emotional fulfillment. So these are things that you want to bring you emotional fulfillment, but everything that's in the cup is not good for you. They can all look good. Let's say if you have somebody making you an offer, or more than one person making you an offer. Let's say it's about a job. Both of the jobs can look good, but it's not until you actually cut through the allure of it, you cut through the illusion of it, that'll be the time when you'll kind of be able to figure out exactly what's happening with that job. Like what's happening with the people that work there. You'll do the research, you'll look at the comments made on Glassdoor, you'll do all these different things, because it could look like a great job on the outside, but then when you look down to the details, the devil is in the details, is what they say. So that just means that things can be hidden, until you get down into like the nitty gritty of it to see exactly what's happening. So this could be something that you're dealing with for this month. Aquarius, you could just be dealing with the fact that everything looks good, but you know yourself that it's not good, which is why clarifying that we had the Hermit card. So this is you taking that pause that we talked about, that hangman pause, to go inward. The Hermit is kind of just like the hangman. The only difference is that the Hermit is trying to overcome the ego. And a lot of times when we get stuck in our ego, when we get stuck in our head, the ego a lot of times blows things up out of proportion. So, or, it makes you get lost in illusions, like this Seven of Cups speaks about, is you being lost in the illusion of something being greater than it is, or something being better than it actually is. Something glittering, but it's not gold. So the Hermit takes a pause, just like the hangman does, to go inward, to kind of like dispel the ego, to kind of go beyond what the ego is doing, because the ego is outward, and it's kind of like giving you something that looks very good from the outside looking in. But then when you go internally, when you go to look at your own intuition, that's when you get in that hangman position, and you can see things from a different perspective, a different point of view. So either way it goes, you're going internal for this month, at least the beginning of December, to look at things that are happening outside that you may feel confused about, because the Seven of Cups also represents confusion. So you could be feeling confused about something that you actually have to make a decision in, which is why you're going to go inward into the Hermit mode, to consult your intuition, to consult your inner knowledge. The Hermit goes beyond logical things. So if you were super logical about a decision that you have to make about something, I think now you're going to be tapping into your intuition. The Hermit goes for the inner knowledge, the inner wisdom, which is your intuition, which is, the things that you know already. The Hermit, starts to learn the things that he knows, as opposed to the things that you learn. Like the artificial knowledge that we have as human beings are the things we can learn in school, we can learn by reading a book, we can learn by other people telling us. But then you have another set of knowledge within yourself that only you know. And you don't even know how you know it, but you know it, through your intuition, through your inner knowledge that you have within yourself, inside of your DNA, inside of your soul, your spirit, however you want to put it. You have knowledge that you were born with. And so the Hermit taps into the knowledge that he was actually born with, he or she. This is a general reading. But he goes in to tap into that knowledge so that it can be a guide to him moving forward in his path. So you're stopping to go inward. That's what the hangman does. Also, he takes a pause. He hangs upside down to see how everything looks from upside down. Like if you actually, hung from upside down from a tree and you looked at reality from that point of view, I bet you probably would get some type of enlightenment. Even if you didn't get enlightenment, you would just see things from a different point of view, and it would look almost crazy. So this is what you're doing, Aquarius. You're flipping everything upside down. Like instead of making a choice out of your clouded judgment, or making a choice out of impulse, because everybody could be bringing you something during this period, or they could have already bought you things, or you could already be running into a lot of options that you're dealing with. And because you don't have total clarity on it, you're choosing to go inward and consult your higher self, your intuition, all those good things. What are you thinking about, though? Let's see. Right beside the Hangman, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So to me, you could be thinking about the future. The Ten of Pentacles is a future card. I like to say it's the card that is our vision board, what you see for yourself in the future. This is a person that is surrounded by, stability, surrounded by happiness, by love. You have the family that you always wanted. You're with the person that you always wanted to be with. You have the career and the job that brings you emotional fulfillment and the amount of money that you want, and you like doing it, all those different things. This is what you could be thinking about and what you're having to make a decision about. Maybe it's something, it could be a path that you're choosing to go down in the future. And you're having to decide which path you want to take to get to this Ten of Pentacles energy. What path is it that you want to take to get there? Do you want to do something that brings you emotional fulfillment, or something that brings you more money instead of emotional fulfillment? I think this is what you're thinking about. You're kind of like deciding, what is it that I want to choose that I'll actually be happy with? Because a lot of times we have many decisions in life, many paths that we can take, but it's only a couple of different paths, or one path that is going to actually give us what we want, that's actually going to give us fulfillment. So whenever we're looking at a direction that we want to head in life, whenever we're thinking about the next evolution, the next stage or cycle of us becoming who we are, we actually always pause before we do that. So you're at a critical moment, Aquarius, where you're actually taking the time to think about what you want to do next. What's the next move that you want to take? Because recently, from all the readings that I've been doing starting in November, I could see that we're kind of like wrapping up certain karmic cycles. Almost every sign is wrapping up karmic cycles, wrapping up all the different things that we had to deal with in the last cycle. All the things we're tired of, all the things we had to face, we're dealing with all that. And when you deal with things like that, you usually take a pause when you're wrapping it up at the end. And so Aquarius, you could be at the point where you're just kind of pausing a little bit to look at things from a different point of view, because you want to make sure your next move is your best move, and you want to move into the future with it. You have something to build that you're working on and you're working towards, because the Ten of Pentacles is a completion of something you've already been working towards to. So somewhere in your life right now, you're completing something when it comes down to your finances, your material wealth, where you see yourself in the future, your stability as a person. And because maybe you're having that completion, you're actually pausing for that to see what you're going to do next. Next to that, the Nine of Wands, we have a person that's been through something. He's been through a couple battles, a couple of wars. He has battle scars, battle wounds to show for it. He's a decorated soldier because he's fought off the enemy. So this is just you dealing with all the things you've been dealing with in life and still standing. And I think because you're still standing, and because you learned so much from all these different trials that you had to go through, or these different lessons that you learned from life, all the drama you had to deal with other people, the hard lessons that you learned that actually bruised you while they were teaching you that lesson, because you've went through that in the past, you're choosing to pause before you move forward and probably just recollect about everything that's happened in the past. Reminisce a little bit, like, man, I used to be here, I used to be there, I used to be going through this type of issue, I used to be with this person, or I used to be in this environment, and now I'm in a different environment. Now I feel like I've completed something, like I've built something, like I'm headed in a new direction. And when that happens, you're pausing for it, and you're kind of confused a little bit because you don't know what to do next. But this is why we clarify with that Hermit. This is why you have the Hangman, because you're gaining a lot of clarity right now in the month of December. Below that, we have the Death card and the Four of Wands. So with the Death card, this is you transforming. The Death card is usually talking about a transformation that has made something dying off and another thing being born again. I always think about the butterfly, the caterpillar changing into a butterfly, and the whole metamorphosis that happens with that butterfly. Every time the a butterfly changes or a caterpillar changes into a butterfly, they go through a total metamorphosis. And really, if you look deeply into this, I've studied Carl Jung, is somebody that's good, that talks about the journey that you take for transformation, or the journey of evolution, and how you go from one person, but then you transform into another person because you deal with all the things that are inside of yourself. So this is the journey that we're all on. This is what I talk about every time I do a reading, when I'm talking about wrapping up a cycle or going from one level of initiation into the next level of initiation. We're all dealing with different levels of the journey, different levels of evolving and becoming a better person and the best version of ourselves. And inside of that journey, you have to have deep transformations, because some things can't be achieved. Some things you can't find a solution to on the same level that it was created, like Einstein said. So you, Aquarius, you're transforming into a different level, into a different person, a different being, because you have to solve bigger problems. You understand? Like, moving forward is going to be harder tests, harder problems, harder lessons that you have to learn, and you can no longer be who you were in the past. You understand? So this is why you had to go through all these different things that happened in the past. This is why you're stopping to take a pause for a second, to take on that hangman energy, to look at things from a different perspective before you move forward. This is why you're going to be going in and feeling like the hermit for a little second, before you choose that path. Because right now, with Seven of Cups being in the crowning of your energy, you could be confused about something. You could be confused about something that has to do with your stability, with your happiness, with what you want for yourself, what you see for yourself in the future. And you kind of want to stop before you move any further or mess anything up any further. You're cautious because you've been through it all. Like Aquarius, you have seen it all and done it all, and have lost it all and won it all. You feel me? I don't even know where that came from and why I'm rhyming when I'm saying it, but that's what I feel. Like, the Nine of Pentacles makes me think about the times that I've been through the dark night of the soul, when I've been through some real shit. Like, really, it was like knee deep in it. The struggle. The struggle is real. That card says it all. The struggle is real. Look at his face. Like, he knows about the struggle. But you stay down until you come up. And so on your way up, and before you go up, you sometimes take a different look, a different perspective at your journey ahead. You consult yourself inwardly instead of taking all the advice from other people, and then you'll be able to make that transformation. So with you making this transformation, it has to do with the transformation of your stability. And that Four of Wands card right here represents somebody that has just achieved something, has achieved a milestone. Like I was saying here, you completed something that has to do with your material wealth, or what you have in life, or where you're going, or what you want. And this is kind of like the same thing. This is also the marriage card and the relationship card also. So you could be having a transformation, some of you guys, when it comes down to the way you see relationships, the way you deal with people who want to be in a relationship with you, or the relationship that you're in currently. You could be having a transformation with that. Because with this energy, this is like that marriage card, that union. You have 1111 inside of this card, which is kind of like that twin flame deal too. So if you're dealing with a twin flame, or you're dealing with a soulmate where you feel like they could be your life partner or the person that you're going to marry, it could be a transformation that's happening with you concerning them moving forward. This could be what you're thinking about point blank, because the Ten of Pentacles is that family card too, where you're trying to figure out, this is you having that full family. So if you're having a transformation in the realm of union, in the realm of you joining with somebody else and having a steady, stable connection, steady, stable relationship, then you're having a transformation in the way you look at it, the way you view it. Maybe before with relationships, Aquarius, you were looking at them in certain film of illusion. Because your head could have been in the clouds thinking about relationships or thinking about somebody that you want to be in a relationship with. But now that you're kind of bringing yourself back down to earth, you're taking on a hangman position, you're pausing a little bit, you're going inside to consult your intuition, then maybe this could be what's transforming the way that you view relationships as a whole, or the way you view this relationship or this connection or this person. Let's get specific with it. For those people that are actually dealing with a soulmate relationship or a twin flame relationship, you could be having a transformation in that area, and this is why you're pausing. This is why you're taking a breather, because you've already been on this journey. You've already dealt with everything that comes along with dealing with a soulmate or dealing with a twin flame, and the highs and the lows that come along with it. All the things that you have to get over with it, that you have to overcome, that you have to build within yourself, fortify within yourself in order to even enjoy a happy relationship. So this is just a testament to that, you making that transformation. And I believe that's what's happening with you, Aquarius, for this month. It's kind of like you're in that hangman position. You could be confused a little bit because you've been through so many different things and you have completed it. Like, not only have you been through it, but you've been triumphant in it. You have a completion here in material wealth, so you've reached some type of milestone with that 4 of Wands. Actually, that represents a milestone also. So at this benchmark that you're at, you're choosing to take a pause, and think about what you want to do next. What's the next goal? Because you have a long set of goals, and now you're going to regroup, you're going to recalibrate, and think about how you're going to move forward using the inner wisdom that you have for yourself, so that you can cut through the illusion, you can cut through the allure, you won't get lost in the sauce, especially if it has to do with the person. You're tired of getting lost in the sauce. The 7 of Cups represents that illusion. You getting lost in the allure of the idea of a person instead of seeing the facts of that person. What? Am I going deep or am I? I don't know. I don't know what's happening, Aquarius. I'm just pulling this out. Like, I'm feeling it. So for some of you guys, you don't want to get lost in the sauce no more. You actually want to have something real, something stable, something that's going to be grounded. That 10 of Pentacles talks about stability and you being grounded in your goals. And that's what you want in a relationship. And this is why you're having that transformation when it comes down to the way you view relationships, the way you view your stability, the way you view, things moving forward. You're going to have a different perspective on it. And it happens often. Like, this is the whole journey of life. Everything changes. Our perspective continually changes, until we see things clearly. And then when we see it clear, it's always another paradigm shift waiting to happen. So that's what I feel is happening with you guys, especially with so many of these thinking cards. Like, you have the Hermit, that's a major arcana. You have the Hangman, major arcana. Then you have the Death card, major arcana. And all these have to do with spiritual transformation. The Hermit is a spiritual person that goes inside and starts to get knowledge from within himself that he can use on his spiritual journey. The Hangman is also a spiritual person that goes to hang upside down so they can get enlightened about life itself. They're all going through transformation. And then the Death card just represents transformation. The death of one stage and the initiation into the new stage. So either way it goes, Aquarius, you're dealing with total transformation. All these transformative cards are surrounding you, and this is why you could feel a little bit confused a little bit, but your transformation itself is what you're confused about, but the transformation is going to bring about the clarity. The Ace of Swords is coming through the transformation. So it's happening. Definitely. Like, I feel it coming through now. I feel the breakthrough in your energy just because we got through the cards, Aquarius. So that's what's happening for you in December. Let's go to the futuristic energy. So In the future, we have the Six of Pentacles. So Six of Pentacles is representing give and take. Six of Pentacles represents equal give and take. So this could be what you're trying to change. Maybe, let's say, if it's in a relationship, or if it's with new relationships moving forward, maybe it was not equal give and take, either from you or from the other people that you dealt with. And so the Six of Pentacles represents a balancing of giving and taking. You know, you conserving the energy that you need for yourself and giving the other energy that you want to bless somebody else with. This doesn't even have to be with a relationship. This is just in general in life. If you give too much and you don't receive enough, then you spread yourself thin and you lose balance. The scale right there represents balance. You know, and then in the other hand, he's given out from one person, you know. But it's kind of like that, you finding balance between giving and taking, and how you give to other people and receive from other people, and how you can see the difference of the people that are takers and people who are gifters or givers, you know. And you distancing yourself from people who are takers. That's life right there. And this could be the lesson that you're starting to learn right now is, okay, I want to bring distance to those people that are taking away from me, taking away more than they're giving. Definitely inside of a relationship, because this relationship right here is balance. You have the Two of Wands right there. It's equal balance on that, equal give and take. Where you're with your equal, you're in union with somebody who gives to you just as much as you give to them, you know. But Six of Pentacles energy is kind of like what teaches you that if anything is out of balance, you're trying to get it back in balance, and you find balance in yourself when you don't overgive, you know, or overtake, because it could be vice versa. If you are a natural giver, then a lot of times you can overgive. If you're a natural taker, then sometimes you can overtake and not give enough, and then you run into problems that way too. So you can fall on any spectrum of this, but you have to have an equal balance of that when it comes down to people, relationships, especially romantic relationships, because if you take too much and don't give enough, then that's going to create an imbalance. If you give too much and don't take enough, if you don't know how to receive, then that's going to also create an imbalance. Why am I saying all this to Aquarius? Dang, I mess with Aquarius. Next, we have the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands represents somebody, and you guys, Aquarius, this has been popping up, and you're reading a lot. I think in your last two readings I did for you, the Two of Wands was here because this is a decision that you have to make, but you haven't made it yet. Once again. Or you're on the brink of making that decision. The Two of Wands, the person holding the world, is kind of like you knowing that the world is your oyster, so you can do anything you want. Same energy like this. Seven of Cups, you have decisions to be made. You know that you have a lot of decisions that you can make. You have a lot of options. And somebody that has a lot of options, a lot of times they'll take longer to make their decision. The Hangman, pause. The Hangman has to take a pause just to be like, okay, what am I going to do next? Because it looks like I can do anything. I've learned a lot, you know, and I know I have a lot that I want to achieve in the future, but what am I going to do next, and what path am I going to take to get there? This is where you're at once again in the futuristic energies, thinking about a path that you want to take, but not quite embarking out on that path yet. That's what the Two of Wands is. You know that you want to go in a certain direction, but you haven't left your home yet. This guy is still at home. You understand? Like, he's still looking over his balcony into the ocean where he wants to take a trip somewhere, but he hasn't left his home to make the trip yet. So you're still contemplating it. You're still contemplating a move or a direction that you want to head in. And I think that's what you're gaining clarity on also, with the clarity I was talking about, the Ace of Swords that's at the bottom of the deck for you guys. You could be gaining clarity on your next move, and let your next move be the best one. So that's why you're taking your time. So I guess you're like, yeah, I'm not trying to be rushed with that at all. And I feel you. which is why you're taking that pause, which is needed. Right below here, though, we have the Three of Cups. So Three of Cups usually represents a celebration with you and your friends. It's going to be the holiday season, so of course you're going to be celebrating something. But more than celebrating the holidays and festivities, you may just be celebrating your year. Like if you had a hell of a year, if you completed some things, if you had some achievements that you've gained, in life, then you're going to want to celebrate. And so we have two celebration cards. This Four of Wands right here is a celebration card. You celebrating with friends about achievements, milestones being made. And then Three of Cups is like the same type of card. It could represent a third party too, but I see this as just like some type of celebration happening. For some of you guys, it could be dealing with a third party situation. Definitely, if we're talking about you being confused about different options and you taking a pause and you having a transformation within your relationship, some of you guys could be dealing with more than one people or be within a third party situation with the person that you're with. And you could be making a decision about that. I don't know for sure. That would definitely take a deeper reading right there. I'm not going to go that deep in a general reading, but for the most part, I think generally this could just be you guys coming to the end of the year and celebrating the fact that you made it through the year. With friends, with family, just chilling out a little bit, and then celebrating where you're going to be going next. Right below that, we have the Four of Pentacles. So Four of Pentacles represents that person that is kind of like holding back a little bit, which will make sense going into the future if you're in the hangman mode, because you're taking a pause, you're not moving forward, you're going into the hermit mode, thinking about some things internally. So of course, when it comes down to giving out your energy, you may be pulled back a little bit. You may be taking that, restraint energy where you just restrain a little bit. You're like, nah, I don't want to give away my secrets, my plans. I don't want to give my personality away or my energy or anything like that, because I'm still thinking about and contemplating some things. Because all these cards, Aquarius, have to do with contemplation. Two of Wands, contemplating. The Hangman, contemplation. Seven of Cups, contemplating. The Hermit contemplates. All that. And then transformation. So, and then we have another thought card, the Ace of Swords. So you're thinking a lot. And when anybody is in thinking mode, contemplating their life, they go into hermit mode. They're not as receptive. They're a little bit closed off. So you could just be in the month of December kind of pulling back and closing off your energy. The way you're giving and the way you're taking. So it's only because a decision has to be made about something. And I believe this month you receive clarity. I know in November with you guys, I was talking about how everything was changing around you, but there was a level of stubbornness when it came down to what you wanted to do and how you wanted to move forward.